Kannst du Mikrofon aufstellen?
Ja.
Das ist schwer mit so einem.
Alle stumm, jetzt sind alle stumm. Okay. So. Ja, dann herzlich willkommen zu unserem Spezialtasting heute Abend. Es geht um die wunderbare Insel St. Lucia. Es geht um Germans Reserve. Und wir haben einen Experten heute hier in der Runde sitzen. So, welcome, Margarete.
Thank you.
So, what I say, we have an expert from St. Lucia now. So, I think everybody is looking for your stories about how you make rum, maybe some details of the island, and yeah, so.
It is such a pleasure to be here. Thank you all for tuning in.
Pleasure for us all, for all of us. Okay, so yeah, let's start the game. So what we are doing, it's the same, was wir machen wie immer. Margarete will say, müssen wir noch mal schnell die Akkus wechseln. Will give us the numbers for the samples, so we say which one we'll taste before we start this tasting. But maybe, so first, you're working a very long time for St. Lucia Distillers, I've read.
Yes.
Yes.
I've been with the company for 38 years,
Mm-hmm.
done many jobs. My claim to fame is having worked directly with Laurie Barnard as he was my direct boss.
Mm-hmm.
And so much of what I've learned, I'm not a technical person. I was there for most of these products, for everything as they were created. But I admit I'm not a technical person, but I've been there and I totally enjoy rum. And I mean, it's a great experience. So I'm really, really excited to be here today to present our company to you guys. Thank you.
Great, thank you.
Presentation.
No, it's just I can answer for the chat. So,
And then we started with presentation.
with the presentation? Okay.
I've prepared a presentation for everybody today. That way, if you'd have problems understanding me, at least you could see and appreciate what I'm trying to say. I do forgive my voice. I guess the change in the hot climate of St. Lucia and the cold of Germany is impacting my voice, but I shall do the best job that I can this evening. So once again, a warm welcome to all of you, and thank you to Rum Depot for inviting us.
Pleasure for us.
Okay. St. Lucia Distillers is the only distillery in St. Lucia, and we're located on the west coast.
Mm-hmm.
So you can
No,
slide. Right, and we're located on the west coast. You can see where we are. We're in an ideal location. Next slide. We're in a valley, the Roseau Valley, which is surrounded by mountains. It has the main river of the island running through, and there's a smaller one on the other side. So we're in between two rivers. We're very close to the sea, and we are at the edge of the rain belt of St. Lucia, which means we have the perfect microclimate for aging rum in St. Lucia. The location had been chosen years ago, really out of economic reasons, in that we buy our molasses. What happened was once the company they were no longer producing sugar in St. Lucia, and companies had to purchase molasses. The two remaining distilleries on the island in 1972 decided to merge their operations, and now they had to import molasses. It meant that they could bring in huge tankers, which come into the Roseau Bay, and the molasses is pumped directly into the distillery via a pipeline, a solid pipeline along the land. But in the sea, there's a flexible line that stays on the seabed, and you connect it to the.
So how long is this pipeline?
Oh, well, you know, we use it's about a mile long.
Okay.
So we're gonna have to convert that first. Okay, so we're quite close to the sea. So that terroir creates who we are today. So we have a little bit of our history, a timeline.
Mm-hmm.
I indicated we were formed in 1972 when these two guys, very forward-thinking guys, decided to merge the two distilleries. We launched our first rum, 1973, as Bounty Rum. And if you ever come to St. Lucia, it doesn't matter what other rums we come out with, whatever else happens, St. Lucians believe in Bounty Rum, the spirit of St. Lucia. Okay, it's quite a young rum, but it's easy to drink, easy to mix. So just mention that for anybody who heads to St. Lucia. Don't be surprised. That's what they're going to offer you. We later came out with the Admiral Rodney. This was in 1981. And over the years, Admiral Rodney has evolved while we've gotten much stronger and better at producing aged rums. The two families that had merged their distilleries, one was Geest and the other was the Barnard family. We don't have much history on Geest, but we do know that Geest, they do run a shipping line up to today. It was a shipping company. They were into bananas. So they ran the distillery until 1988, when Laurie Barnard came on board as the chairman. Laurie Barnard is the son of Dennis. Dennis was the one who originally was part of the merger of the two distilleries, and he took over. And when he took over as the chairman, that is when we started to move places. This man, it's as if rum was what was flowing through his veins. I always threatened to cut him to find out. I was never brave enough, but he lived, and his passion was rum. And it was not about making money, it was about making good rum. Anybody who knows Laurie Barnard, he would question you, he would be from morning to nighttime, all he spoke about was rum. Rum was his passion. So this is when a lot of investments started.
Mm-hmm.
And you can move to the next time. And we invested in pot stills and different methods, and we were able to launch Chairman's Reserve in 2001. I will speak a bit more to that later. Unfortunately, or maybe fortunately, I'm not sure, the Barnard family figured out that there was no, oh, and by the way, I forgot to mention that Laurie Barnard then encouraged his family to buy out the partner, the Geest partner, and became 100% owners of St. Lucia Distillers. So by 1989, they owned the company outright. So we were a fully owned family company. They figured by 2005 that there was no succession. Laurie, at some point would want to retire, as if I don't quite believe that. And so they sold the company to buy a hotel. So they sold to an insurance company, but Laurie stayed on as the chairman while the company was sold, so that he would continue running it. However, he got sick. Clico got into financial trouble, and he became quite ill, and unfortunately passed away in 2011. So it meant that from 2011, I had to hold on until I was officially appointed in 2012. And my goal was to make sure that Laurie's vision was always, realized in this company. And so we were very fortunate that while the company had to be sold again, we were bought by the group GBH. And they have certainly kept the DNA of the company. They have not changed anything. They've all they've done is enhanced and improved what we're doing. So we're really in a great place. And I think for the future, you people will be hearing more of us. So we can move on.
Mm-hmm.
That's a bit of our history.
So just from my understanding, so you have been working in distillery before 2012.
Oh,
already?
yes.
Okay, how long?
I've been there since 1985.
Okay. Oh, wow. Okay.
So I was there when Laurie came on board as a chairman. I was all part. My signature is on the document when we purchased the shares from the Geest family, and when it was sold to Clico, my signature is there. So yeah,
Okay.
I've been there throughout the history. So while I didn't work in the distillery, I do know, and I've been a director of the company for most of that time. So I'm aware of everything that has happened. So that's why I'm able to sit here today.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So for those of you, and I know we have a lot of rum professionals on board, so I will be very brief, I promise you. Molasses, rum is made from I would say 95% of our rum is made from molasses. As we all know, molasses is this residue from the sugar production, and it is very thick and quite difficult to handle. So that's why St. Lucia Distillers has a significant advantage being able to pump straight from the ships into the distillery. And this is just an example of what our storage tank, one of our storage tank, probably the oldest. We have 3,700 tons of storage of sugarcane, which gives us half a year of production. I'm hoping, obviously, that we increase that as molasses has become a little bit of a challenge to locate, being such a small distillery.
Are we allowed to ask you where the imported molasses come from?
Well, we, for many years, bought from Guyana, but unfortunately, they no longer supply us. They gave us 3 months' notice. And then we started with our place of choice is the Dominican Republic.
Okay.
But there have been times we haven't been able to get, so we've had to buy. I know we recently took a shipment from Panama, because we're a small distillery. We have to think, this is an area I wish we had more control over, but we don't. The most we can do is try to get the quality that we need to operate in our distillery. But we have a fantastic lab. These guys are amazing. So whatever molasses we can get our hands on, they just adjust the formula so that we can get the same results.
Okay.
All right.
Next.
We can move on.
Okay.
All right. So I discussed the fact that we make rum from molasses, but we also make rum from sugarcane. Laurie, of course, always wanting to try something new, decided we've got all this land around us. Why don't we plant some sugarcane? And his second passion was gardening. He ran his father's estate for many years. So he knew a lot about planting crops and whatnot. So there we were. We brought in some samples from Barbados and we decided to plant sugarcane. Now, this is all very manually done, where you come with your, guys with a machete, you're cutting this cane by hand and it is crushed. And this is the actual machine that you're seeing there. Single cane by cane.
Okay.
So it's a very slow process. But our distillery is so small that it's not inefficient for us. It works for us, and it creates employment 9 months in a year for the guys around the distillery. So we also make rum from sugarcane. We are not allowed to call it rum agricole, as most people are aware. But this is we make it in our pot stills, which I will speak to later. Okay. I spoke earlier about the Rosa River, part of the whole microclimate that we have. Another point I would make, so most of our processed water comes from the river, the cooling processes and so, but every bottle of rum that you get from St. Lucia has been blended with rainwater. So we collect all our rainwater. We get rain nearly every day of the year, even if it's a brief shower. In Roseau, and we collect that, we treat it, it goes through a reverse osmosis plant. And this is what we use for blending. The master blender thinks it's, he was saying that the mineral count is lower. And as a result, it is perfect for blending because it allows the characteristics and the flavors in rum to come to the fore. So, and that is what we use for rainwater.
Okay.
All right. So you see a difference here between the two washes. The rum is made from you distill wash. So I spoke about the molasses previously, and I spoke about sugarcane. So we now have two molasses and sugarcane. We see the difference. One is green, one is brown. The molasses wash is normally 24 to 48 hours before it goes to the stills once it's no longer active. The sugarcane can take up to 3 days. If we use natural yeast, It can even take up to 7 days. I've seen it take quite a while. We've been using more and more we don't use the natural yeast. We use there's a specific yeast that came off sugarcane that we use. And we find that one the most effective, but we do experiment with the sugarcane wash. So we come next to the yeast. So there again, you see St. Lucia distillers variety come into play, molasses and sugarcane. We're now looking at our yeast. We have 2 different types of yeast. We have the yeast that was developed in the region, which came off the sugarcane plant itself. And we have another which we purchase. It's a non-proprietary yeast, but we'll keep that one a secret. You know, we don't want you to go buy it as well. And we have an arrangement with the developer, which has been ongoing for many years. So just starting looking at what I've presented so far, you can see we're able to produce quite a bit because we already start with 2 different washes. Now you add 2 different types of yeast, variety then comes into play. So this is what we're about. Lord Barnard was always trying something new, and out of it, we've really developed a great variety. And that's why a small distillery is able to produce so many different rums. Okay, so we can move on. And I'm trying to be quick. I know I'm speaking to professionals. So how the process starts with propagating your yeast. I mean, many of you have made bread. You know, you have to set the yeast and allow that to start. And so it starts in the propagator. And then that is added to the wash, which could be the molasses or the sugarcane wash. And it's in the mother vessels. So we start our process in clean stainless steel. And the idea is to get the maximum benefits out of the yeast at that point and the wash and the maximum amount of rum out of it. But we always finish in our concrete fermentation tanks, which have been around for donkey's years. They have been there for many, many years. And this is because our lab folks, you know, the master blend and so keep saying that there are certain, whether it is a bacteria, but certain characteristics that would be imparted into your finished product based on your finishing fermentation. So this is the final stage before we head to the stills.
Yeah, okay.
All right. I did speak to the wash previously. You say that when the wash is dead and that the length of time will finish. So I think we can move on. Okay. Okay, so this is the next exciting part. So our tiny distillery has 4 stills. So we already spoke of 2 bases for the raw material, 2 different yeasts. So start thinking variety. We now come to the number of stills that we have. So we have our coffee column still, which has 45 plates. And we extract at the top at plate 40 for our local strong rum, you know, the overproof rum. So again, if you come to St. Lucia, you know that if somebody's going to test you and ask you to taste this rum. But this is where we get that rum from. And then apart from that, we have plates 30 and 32 that we extract. So from the column still, we have 3 different rums that we're extracting currently. We have experimented with others, but at this point, this is what we're doing out of this still. So this may be a good point to introduce the Admiral Rodney. I was told that you guys may be very thirsty at this point in time.
Exactly. So, dann starten wir jetzt mit der Probe Nummer 3, bitte. Also, Flasche Nummer 3, der Admiral Rodney ist unsere erste Probe. So, we start with number 3.
Yes, I'm sorry to hear that. But if we're speaking about the column still, Admiral Rodney, the Royal Oak, which is the one we're tasting tonight, is the perfect example of what a good traditional column still rum tastes like. And there's a bit of a story, you know, when we first launched Admiral Rodney, it didn't do very well. We thought, oh, we have 8-year-old rum, why not just put it in a bottle? And it didn't do well. So we had to seek help. We reached out to a retired master blender from another country that had a good reputation. And we booked him for a week to come and assist us, you know, to see what we were doing wrong. The gentleman took 1 day. And he said to us, in all his years of working, it had been the best rum he'd ever worked with. The mistake we had made, we had not selected barrel by barrel to identify the right barrels. So we had just lumped a bunch of barrels together, plus our filtration system had some inadequacies. It wasn't properly filtered. And so he said that was all we needed. And believe you me, after that, we had serious confidence now, you know.
Okay.
We suddenly felt we were experts. So folks, I invite you to enjoy the Admiral Rodney rum. I'm not the master distiller, but I would say it will be great on the nose. You will get that natural sweetness of St. Lucia Distillers rums. There's no sugar added, I assure you. And excellent flavors coming through. A bit of maybe sometimes pineapple, coconut. I mean, just so many flavors, and it has a pretty long finish.
Yeah.
So cheers and enjoy.
Cheers.
Oh, and I see a lady in the crowd. Hey, cheers to you. I see 2 ladies. Another one is up there. There we go. Cheers, ladies. Thanks for joining me tonight. This is my go-to rum for after dinner. This is what I would, you know, it's a very easy sipping rum. It's not, I don't mix it. You may add a little water if you want to, but you know, reduce the alcohol. But great, easy sipping rum. Perfect example of what a column still can make.
There's a nice sweetness.
Yeah, and it's
which is interesting. There's no sugar,
yeah,
but you can find a sweet.
It's
taste on the
comes straight off the, which is what. Unfortunately, my
your voice.
My voice is not the best tonight, so and I'm on. So I took some medications. So I'm being very careful, but please enjoy it.
Any special hints to the royal oak?
Any special?
Any special hints, or what does the royal oak in the name refer to?
Well, this is based on Admiral Rodney. It's a whole story based on Admiral Rodney, a naval admiral who was known for having broken the line and allowing the English to overpower the French. And as a result, Royal Oak was one of the ships used in the battle, and that's what it is. I must admit.
Okay.
Yeah, so Royal Oak is one of the ships that was used in the battle.
I thought it would be something about a special barrel.
No, but I have to tell you, we are going to be changing the name of Admiral Rodney.
Now, since the French bought a distillery back, makes sense.
Okay, we let them take responsibility. So we are going to be changing the name shortly, but the same great product will be in the bottle. Okay.
So, but it's not made from the wood from the ship.
No, it's not. These have been aged in bourbon. So, like I said, it's a very traditional rum. Aged in once used bourbon oak barrels. Okay, so very traditional, but excellent rum. I won many awards over the years, and this is always a rum you can always go to. So, okay. All right, so back to my presentation.
Yes.
So I spoke about the coffee column still, and we just had an example of what a coffee column still could produce. I must say on plate 30, when the distillate comes off, it reminds me of cream soda, a drink I had as a child, and I could just sit there smelling this. I love it so much. And that sweetness is what comes through, you know, on our rums. Apart from that, so Laurie Barnard again decided, well, let's go back into pot still rums. Can you imagine when they first merged the distilleries? They had this massive pot still, but they figured it was inefficient. And so they stripped the pot still and sold it. They sold the copper. Such a shame when you think back what happened in those days. But anyway, so he bought a small pot still, a John Doe one, or the John Doe pot still, and thought, let's go back into pot still rums. I have to admit, when I tasted the first distillate, having only been exposed to column still rum, I thought it was the most disgusting thing. I thought he had gone crazy, he'd gone mad. But I have to, when it's when we tasted it after 1 year, 2 years, I could not believe the transformation and the amount of flavors that were coming into your mouth. But it did take some getting used to. And I mean, the whole world, the rum world, suddenly there was an interest, I don't know if he foresaw it or what happened, but hey, there we were producing pot still. And the whole idea was so that we could blend it with column still. Because Laurie was into creating new, column still was a bit boring for him. He wanted to do new things. So we then were very fortunate to get a gift of a Vendome pot still from Angostura, who was a partner for a brief time. In fact, they were owned by Clico as well. So we shared ownership. And so we had a very good relationship. And so we got a Vendome pot still from them. So there we add, and I think the Vendome has 15 plates. I remind everybody, I'm not a technical person. I just learned over the years and tasted. I can tell you when rum tastes good and when it doesn't, That's my skill. So the Vendome has a number of plates, and I know Ian John, who's our master distiller right now, he will be playing with the Vendome, so you may find some unique and different things coming out. But for now, we're making 2 or 3 rums on the Vendome using the various yeast. The John Doe and the Vendome, we do molasses as well as sugarcane rums on those. And we use the 2 different types of yeast. So we do make quite a variety of rums of those 2 little stills that you see there. Of course, we launched Chairman's Reserve, which is a blend of pot and column still. And Chairman's has started to do extremely well. So our tiny still could not handle the amount of pressure, the demand on it. So we went and we bought the larger John Doe. And I found, and even the master blender has admitted, there are slight differences. And those of you who have been in the single barrel program may have tasted slight differences between the John Doe 1 and John Doe 2. At work we call them JD1 and JD2. So if you see those references, that's what it means. So there we are. We have molasses and sugarcane, 2 yeast strains. And now I'm talking about 4 stills, and we're able to make a variety. We use a variety of washes on the various stills, producing a wide variety of rums. And if you ever come, and I invite everybody, I'm always inviting everybody, come to St. Lucia Distillers and do a masterclass. We take you from the distillate straight from the still, and you see the transformation over the years. You taste what happens over the years. So there is a brief on our production, but our variety doesn't end there.
Okay.
So let's move on.
About the John Doe 2, in that one, you're just using molasses.
Yes.
Okay.
Because the quantity of sugarcane, because we're cutting it by hand, they can only produce small quantities at a time. We only do them in the sugarcane, in the Vendome, and the John Doe 1. But the John Doe 2, we have 2 varieties. We do 2 different washes because we have the 2 yeast varieties that go into there. Okay. So, okay, but we can skip this one because I discussed all the plug plates. Now, when it comes to aging, most of you would have known that aging in the Caribbean, and I did discuss our microclimate, is 3 to 4 times faster than the continental climates. So it is quite quick. And where we are located, the high humidity, the moisture in the air, Even the fact that proximity to the sea, you will get heavy oak. You get that sweetness that comes through. We're, surrounded by bananas and so, plantations around us. And there's a hint of salt. Someone mentioned it to me years ago. And since then, I've observed that hint of salt on our and this is all to do with the microclimate. But we also age in different barrels. Laurie was whatever. In St. Lucia, we have a distribution company where we're the largest supplier of wine on the island. And so we had access to a wide variety of barrels. So we brought in red wine, white wine, sherry, brandy, and there we were aging in all of these. And so that's how we got into the even more variety. So apart from the master blender, when he comes up, he has to come up with a blend. He's got so much to choose from because of all the things we've done over the years. So there we go. We can move on. Sorry, what do we have next? Okay. So I've learned I ended there with what makes St. Lucia distillers different previously. And it was about our ability to blend. And we're all about the art of blending. And you saw from everything that we had done. I'm told that it's very important, corporate social responsibility. I have to admit, a lot of these things we do here are things that we have done for many years, only because we just knew we had to do it. But I will share with you. So when you support St. Lucia Distillers, you know that you support a good company. You're supporting 150 employees plus communities in St. Lucia. So every penny that you spend, goes towards helping us. And some of the things we've done is that, we support specific activities in St. Lucia, which promote our culture. So we have Journée Creole, which is about our Creole heritage, our French heritage. We support that in a big way so that it's, around the island, people recognize the traditions, the history. We support Carnival. So I invite everybody, come again in July. Good time of year to come and enjoy some Carnival. With respect to the environment, I mentioned that already, that we're harvesting our rainwater. But another thing that we do, there are a lot of cruise ships visiting St. Lucia, and we collect the waste oil from these cruise ships. That waste oil is what we burn in the distillery. We use it to keep our boilers going, and we make rum using the waste oil. We also collect from all the garages around the island. If not, there would be a disposal problem. So we go around the island collecting. We have a truck, and we use that waste oil. So it benefits us as well. It lowers our cost, and it helps with getting rid of those items.
And that's sufficient for running the whole distillery?
Yes. In a good year, when you have enough cruise ships coming through. During COVID, we suffered a bit. We had to buy some diesel to operate. Okay. But that was the first time in many years that we had to do that. So yes, we're able to run once there are enough ships coming through. Okay. We even collect like oil from KFC and places like that as well. So there are a lot of sources that people never think of. Another simple ways that we've been very proactive. I've got a daughter who is a doctor in the local hospital, and she called one day saying, "Mommy, we have no alcohol in the hospital. This is during COVID. We need alcohol. You guys need to do something about it." So what do? Immediately, we jump into action. We extracted plate 40, dilute it down to 70%, bottle it. We gave to the hospitals, the first responders, the fire service, all these people, we gave it to them for free. But then we subsidized and sold it to the local, in the supermarkets and everywhere, making rubbing alcohol available to every St. Lucian at a very affordable price for sanitizing purposes, and this is something that we didn't even think about it. We just did it because it needed to be done. In the Roseau community, we tried as much as possible to make sure that children have an opportunity, people have an opportunity to better their life. And so we offer scholarships, not only to the community, but to our staff. So some people, we hey, in the first world, you guys, you get free medical when you go to the hospital, you get free education. We're not that lucky. We've got to pay for it. So a lot of people who are quite bright don't get these opportunities. And as a result, our company gives out loans. So whether we give soft loans. So we advance the money so they can go off to university, they can do, and it's fully, there's so many online programs. And I'm one that has benefited from the program. I did my bachelor's and my master's online, traveling back and forth. And when you do pass and you complete the program, the company immediately writes off 50% of the cost, absorbs that, and you paid back the other 50% in affordable payments. Okay. We meet weekly to approve donations for medical support, people requiring help, with medical costs. And so we do a lot of that. So folks, I mean, we try to be as responsible as possible. So whenever you buy from us, you're supporting St. Lucia. And
so we have to drink more.
Yes.
Why not right now?
All right, so I think now we can get into the products. Mm-hmm. I gave you all a taste earlier. So what are we going to taste next? So
the legacy.
We're going to do the legacy.
Legacy, okay. So bottle number 1, also Flasche Nummer 1, dann bitte jetzt aussuchen. Legacy.
Right, so it was very important that I went into the background. The legacy, as I told you, Laurie Barnard passed in 2011. And the legacy is in memory of him. He had planted the sugarcane, but he never got to taste the sugarcane after it had been aged for a number of years. He only ever really tasted the distillate. So we decided we had to put forward a product representing Laurie Barnard. One, it could not be too expensive. He was a very humble, simple person. So it had to be in a very simple packaging, nothing over the top. And so I know a few people have commented that it's to reflect the man himself. So it wasn't over the top, affordable, because he would want most people to be able to drink his rum. And it very much showcases the art of blending. We have got Vendome, we've got JD, John Doe 2, there may even be some John Doe 1, JD1, JD2, Vendome for sure, column still in there, 2 different types of column still rums, plus the sugarcane. I think the sugarcane was done on the JD1. Okay, so enjoy. It's 30% sugarcane juice rum in here. And certainly we've brought together many different styles of rum, many different types. And it's come out like, I don't know, I mean, it's so fruity. It has a lovely fruity notes, surprisingly. Yep. And it's mainly 4 to 6 year old rums. The 6-year-old being mainly the 4-year-old rums would be the column still, with the 6-year-old being the pot still rums. Mm-hmm. We find pot still takes a little longer to mature than the column still rums. Yep. We're all about maturity rather than an age statement. You will notice, and we share this that's how we promote our products. Mm-hmm. So cheers, everybody.
Cheers.
Quick question. Did I get it right that there's just 30% sugarcane juice rum in the legacy? Because I think in the nose, the sugarcane juice is very present.
It is very present. Yes. But we try to achieve some balance because we were trying to showcase blending, the art of blending. Laurie was all about blending. So that's why it's only 30%. If not, it would have been more. It does come through. You're absolutely right. You do take it, yeah. I think it's a good blend. I mean, I am taking sugarcane. I'm taking the JD2, the
Two more questions coming in the chat. Is
Okay.
this the only rum you
used to.
sugarcane distillate? And also, do you produce any pure sugarcane juice rums or just blend them with molasses base?
Okay, all our sugarcane juice rums so far are blends. We don't make enough quantity to be able to do single cane.
So far,
However, so far, because I'm in the process of trying to buy some more land to increase the amount of cane that we grow. But there are people who have bought single cask sugarcane rums.
Okay.
So under the Chairman's Reserve, you may at some point get somebody who has a sugarcane rum
all right. Interesting.
that's been a single cask. Okay. So that for now would be the opportunity to get one. That's where it would be.
May I guess these guys sit aside to you?
Big mystery.
Yeah, I'll have to hide a few. But the other rum that has this is the 1931, also has sugarcane rum in it. So the Chairman's Reserve 1931 that has sugarcane rum in it. Yeah, not as high as 30%. I don't know the percentage off the top of my head, but if anybody wants to know, hey, I can find out for you and get back to you on that. Okay. Like I told you, I'm not a technical person. I just know what I enjoy, whether it tastes good or not. And I'll tell you, I mean, so.
It's the best way to be a rum person.
Yeah, because
That's all you need to do.
there's a rum for everybody, right?
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
some you will like, some you don't like. So just enjoy what you like.
Yeah, that's right.
And be creative and try new things. Always try new ones, but you can always go back to the old faithfuls. All right. Any other questions? Anybody? Well, I'm going very carefully tonight.
Yeah.
I don't want the pharmacist getting mad at me. So
But
next
as you
one.
said, that's a little bit of medicine.
Yes, the perfect medicine for this. You notice my voice is working right now. Huh?
Yeah, it's better.
Let's have a couple more.
A few more sips. Okay, so we're going to do the forgotten cask.
The forgotten cask, right? That's bottle number 2, Flasche Nummer 2 bitte als nächste Probe dann. Der forgotten cask.
Well, you know there's always a story, right? So I have to give you the story if you haven't heard it before.
When the first bottle came into the rum depot and so on, we was reading the story and I was thinking, so okay, that must be very limited because that was a mistake with a fire and everything. But then we realized it's coming more and more every year. So
Using a lot of cars.
yeah.
We suffer from amnesia, actually.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so
Someone with dementia.
2007. So yeah, in 2007, we had this major fire. And as I indicated, I'm not sure I did actually, I didn't explain. The Chairman's Reserve is the original, is 3-year-old rum that is aged separately in the column still and the pot still rums are aged separately, then blended together and put back into cask for 6 months. So what happened in this case, when we had the fire, we had to be using warehouse space for offices. I mean, it was a disaster. Took us a couple of years to get everything back on track. And then we found when we were tidying up a warehouse 4 years later, rums that should have stayed for 6 months had stayed for 4 years. So it was a great excitement. I do recall that day up to now, you know, where everybody says, we found these barrels. So everybody went down to the lab and we were all tasting. And there was absolutely no way we could have used it for regular chairmans. So we reached out to a marketing company and thought, okay, couple barrels. It was quite a bit of barrels. If it was a small quantity, maybe we would have ignored it. But it was such a large quantity of rum that we reached out and they said, okay, why don't you call it the Forgotten Casks? Now, I would tell you, anybody who knows our cellar master, Cyril Mangal, don't ever mention Forgotten Casks to him. He gets really upset because he said it makes him sound incompetent. He hates it. So I hope he's not listening by any chance. He's going to get mad at me tonight. But anyway, what happened is once we started to sell it, I mean, everybody was commenting on it and there was a demand for it. So if you ever see there's some labels that would say limited edition. These would be the original Forgotten Casks. Thereafter, we suffer with amnesia every year and we put casks down. And so we forget casks every year. And that's what we do. It ages an additional 4 years and then we bottle it. So that's what you have in the Forgotten Cask. An amazing rum. I mean,
It becomes a forgotten warehouse, actually. Somewhere on the island. We forgot that way.
I think one of us might lose our job.
So you need a treasure map to find.
A concept for a new tour. Huh? You guys have some great ideas.
Yeah.
I'll think about that one.
Maybe you can sell to the cruise ships. The map.
Go find the forgotten warehouse, you know. And if you find it, you get a bottle free.
Yeah.
How about that?
Great concept.
Yeah.
See people driving all over St. Lucia.
Not finding anything.
But anyway, folks. I drink this when I go out in St. Lucia because it's quite affordable. It's a lovely rum, though, quite affordable and great for drinking straight. But in a hot climate like St. Lucia, I always enjoy this with ginger ale on some ice.
Okay.
I find it goes very well.
Like lemonade.
Well,
Like good lemonade.
usually with lemonade, I do ginger ale. And
No, I mean it's like a lemonade then. If you mix it with ginger ale, so you have one of the best lemonades.
Okay. You see, I'm learning things here tonight. Wow. Okay, so
Are these
Yes.
products all very available on the island, or are some references, let's say, mostly produced for export?
what you've tasted so far is everything we've tasted so far is readily available on the island.
Okay.
Okay, but I do remind everybody, you come to St. Lucia, they'll say, what's the best St. Lucian rum? Bounty rum.
Okay.
Okay, so just be prepared for that one, you know.
I had some about it in my life.
So just be prepared for that one. But these are all available on island. We do have every so often shortages of forgotten casks where we didn't forget enough casks. We have increased our storage, so we shouldn't have any problems with forgotten casks. But yes, we have had that issue with the forgotten casks in the past. But so far, I think we're good. And we come to the others, obviously. So cheers, everybody. I could sit here drinking this all night long. This is
Sind wir noch bei eins? Nein, wir sind jetzt bei Flasche Nummer 2.
I'm using this one for my rum tastings, either as an opener or when I do chocolate and rum tasting. Together with a master chocolatier from my hometown. Then we use it as a finisher along with almond nougat praline. And so this has never ever disappointed any guests in any tasting.
wow, that is great to hear. Certainly, I hadn't with chocolate. I'm aware that yes. Because there's a company in St. Lucia, Hotel Chocolat, and I do know they do offer some pairings.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's great. I agree with you with the chocolate. Nougat is not native to us, but I would certainly Luga in any form with some rum. That sounds perfect,
Yeah.
actually. I'm gonna try that one. Thanks. I could sit here drinking this one all night long, but
To the colleagues to your side, wenn ihr wieder zur Bottle Market hier seid, ist es Nick von Heiningen, der die Pralinen macht, und der macht ja immer die Messe-Praline auch. Der hat dann auch die Sorte da, dann können wir das bei euch am Stand mal in der Kombi
Können wir
probieren.
live mal ausprobieren, ja. Okay.
Genau.
So we're in 3 weeks we go to a big fair in Bremen, where he's coming from. And he says the producer of the chocolate is on the fair, so we can taste it on the fair directly and we'll find out if it is working or not, but I'm sure it is working.
a pity I won't be there.
Yeah. Hey, we can invite you.
You're
Let's send you
right.
pictures. Let's send
You want to send me a ticket instead, you know?
you to Grim.
Mhm.
I can do that. If you give me a ticket to St. Lucia instead.
Oh, okay. We have a trade going on. All right, so
Okay.
okay. So you're taking me into unfamiliar territories. I will need some help.
Mhm.
What's next?
I guess the next is 2009.
2009.
2009.
Okay, so 2009, that is with two.
Bottle Nummer 4, also Flasche Nummer 4 ist das nächste dann bitte. Number type.
So these are 11, this is an 11-year-old rum, aged separately, put back into cask. So it's Chairman's, but with 11-year-old rums, really and truly.
Mhm.
Okay. Let's try it, folks. So this is the exact same rums in Chairman's Reserve.
I think this story was starting in Germany when this bottle came out in 2005. So everybody was expressed and was saying, wow, great. It's the best rum I had from St. Lucia since I'm drinking rum from St. Lucia. So this was
There's a
a signal for starting.
difference between the two.
Mhm.
The 2005 went into cask much earlier as a blend.
Okay.
Much earlier, and this one went into cask as a blend. But that's the only thing. But 11-year-old rum, I mean,
It's old for rum.
yes, it is. It is. But like I said, the column still rums mature much quicker,
Mhm.
but the pots still do take a while to mature. So you will get a sweetness from the pot still rums that
Okay.
would not have been there in the earlier rums. Much more flavor. Don't you think? I think it's like a pineapple.
Pineapple?
That's what I'm getting.
Mhm.
While Chairman's is more tobacco and that type of flavor.
Mhm.
This, because of the 11 years and the heat and the humidity.
Yeah.
It's honey.
It's honey, it's fruity.
Yeah.
Fruity
lot of
and have a
fruit.
little bit taste of the wood, but not too extreme.
You would have thought the wood would even have been stronger, but it's
Yeah.
because the pot still is, it has a high percentage of pot still in it. Because that's what the master blender does. He really tries to match the rums he's working with to make sure you get something that's well balanced.
Mhm.
I mean, and Danny Duplessis is our master blender. He does an amazing job. So I'm hoping one day you guys get to do a master class with him.
Yeah.
Had I thought of it, I would have asked him to call in and at least say hi.
So, guy says, no, we're too fast. No, we are too fast.
Oh, you need to take a break between them.
Yeah, just to enjoy what nose and palate will discover. It's very distinguishable from the ones we had earlier.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you know, this is what St. Lucia distillers, this is what makes us different to many distilleries because of our small size. We're able to create so many different rums that we're able to blend and create unique references for you.
How many liters you produce in a year?
Well, off the column still, to date, the maximum in recent years has been like 850,000 liters.
Mhm.
However, we just expanded our fermentation, so we will probably this year go to 1,100,000.
Okay.
On the pot stills, you're limited by the batch sizes. Because our fermentation was limited, we were not able to make the quantities on the pot stills that they're to their full potential. But now we'll be getting to where we do at least 2 batches per day of each still. And so our figures will be increasing tremendously as of this year.
Okay.
We're already seeing the difference.
And you're distilling all year long.
Yep. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Okay.
But every 6 weeks, we stop, do a quick cleaning. And at Christmas, because it's a very special holiday, 2 holidays in the year, Christmas and Easter, we shut down to allow the staff some time off. So we do full maintenance and stuff during those 2 periods of the year.
Okay.
So that the staff can get some time off, you know, be with their families.
Mhm.
So these are the only times that we shut down completely. 2005, I have to tell you, this is not available in St. Lucia. The few bottles they released to us got sold immediately. I was lucky to get 1 case, which I took to distribute with my friends, and they were all mad at me because I couldn't give everybody a bottle. So you guys are very fortunate to have it.
Yeah, but I made a mistake. So I was open the first bottle, and I was surprised and fell in love. So, but at the
And
end,
the same for 2009.
every client came in and said, "Hey, you have to try this one." But at the end, I forgot to store 1 bottle for me. So it's the last drop.
And it's the same for 2009. We didn't get any in St. Lucia. We got very few because they had been pre-sold. You know, I have to complain to the international sales team. They had been pre-sold. Most of it, it's because they're limited batches. These are based on what's available in stock, and obviously you can't go back 11 years and put
It's
more stock.
interesting that you're complaining that actually someone's doing his job right.
You know, I know, right? But yes, a lot of it was pre-sold. So the 2009, we didn't get very much of it. So if you came to St. Lucia, you will not be able to get it. Sorry, sadly.
What is the oldest stock you have?
The oldest stock is we have.
It's a secret barrel.
The real forgotten cast.
So that's
We have some JD1, which is about 22 years old. In the past, these guys, there wasn't the move to keeping casks for very long. It was about turning it over as quickly as possible. So, but it's only now with everybody being, you know, so interested in rum and what we're doing, that we've decided now to leave and we have better storage conditions. If you came to us a few years ago, we had casks being stored in the yard, out in the open, because we just didn't have a space. We had 15,000 casks, and we had storage for like 8,000 or so. So we had a substantial quantity out in the yard. So it was about turning over as quickly as possible. We've just got 2 beautiful warehouses, each with 3,000 casks of storage, in addition to what we already have. And we're putting a 3rd one down. So now we have the conditions under which we can put some rum for longer. But we do have some 22-year-old John Law. We have some rum that has been aged in port casks. That's about 19 years old right now.
Okay, interesting.
Oh, it tastes pretty good. I didn't think I would like it, but I quite, yes. So what had happened is Laurie kept having all these unique casks where the quantities were not enough to create a blend. So they were just there, and by default, they ended up staying quite some time. We've released a few of those for the cask program, but we haven't released all. Okay, so we do have some hidden secrets. And we have, and fascinating, you know, we were moving across the new warehouses. We came across approximately 50 casks, which are not labeled. So we have what do we call those? We've been trying to figure out. So we've been going through, the master blender has been going through trying to identify them and figure out what they are. But we have about 50 casks that are not labeled.
Okay.
So those will be the true secret casks.
That's a forgotten label.
So we're doing a process of trying to match, but I thought we may have to come up with a secret rum.
Yeah.
Because it's without a label, it's not exact. We can't make a claim
Okay.
without the evidence to prove it.
Mhm.
So we may have to launch them as the secret. Oh, but did I just say that out to everybody? Oh, no. I'm sorry, folks. Oops. So yeah, so that's another secret I just reviewed. So please, everybody.
When you
please
offer
keep-
them for a reasonable price, we may keep the secret by buying them all
Oh,
together.
I mean, this is streamed live on Facebook and YouTube, so basically there's no secret anymore.
Damn it.
Oh, I'm gonna get in so much trouble.
Yeah.
You see,
So
you guys
sure a
have
lot
been
of people are
drinking.
now booking tickets to St. Lucia.
To taste the secret cash.
Yeah,
Already know, maybe they are.
Okay. Again, the question was, how long was it aged till 2009? You said 11 years,
Mhm.
right? So, also 11 Jahre, 11 years.
11 years and then put into cask. So 11 plus. I think they stayed in cask an extra 9 months. So they were 11-year-old rums blended together.
Yeah, it's really
A lot
nice.
drier
Yeah, a lot drier.
than what we've tasted before. And definitely I can get the pot still is coming out. Good seeds
Yeah.
coming to maturity and the full flavors of them pot still are coming through. Definitely a rum for a rum guru.
Yeah, that's true.
Yes.
Just another
And-
question. Sorry. Just another question because of the mouth feel. Is there any sugar in it? Because it is really has like a thicker texture to it than some of the others.
Not an ounce of sugar in there.
Okay, thanks.
I think has to do with the age.
Yeah.
So,
And the pot still in this case is the one because the column still gets very dry
mhm.
and woody
Mhm.
as it stays. The pot still takes a bit longer to mature and you will get that roundness and sweetness coming through. It loses the earthiness that of when it's
Mhm.
first,
Yeah, and then it has more complexity.
yes,
So it needs
absolutely.
time in the glass, so it's starting open. And
Yeah.
you can find every 5 minutes new
Yeah,
aromas.
Something,
So
yeah, absolutely.
it's really connoisseur.
Yeah, this is a connoisseur's rum.
And I'll have banana, for example. So a slice, light note
Absolutely,
of
the banana,
banana. Yeah.
definitely. I had gotten pineapple on a previous one, but this one is definitely banana.
Mhm.
I always wonder, we must find out if the fact that we have so many bananas growing in the valley, if that impacts the aging process. I wonder. I'm not a scientist, but maybe that's something we could explore.
But they have showed some research has shown that the environment can have some impact on sugarcane, but I'm not sure if it can also be the effect on barrels.
Yeah.
In Madagascar, for example, they noticed, or Mauritius, they noticed that when you have like sugarcane next to a vanilla field,
Mhm.
the vanilla is going to impact the sugarcane, and then you're going to have that
The flavors.
kind of vanilla flavor coming out
Mhm.
in your distillate in the end.
But it must be. Because I'm just always amazed because we are surrounded with bananas and coconuts,
Mhm.
and I find it comes through on many of our rums.
Yeah.
There's a question, technical question. What is the benefit of aging the pot and column still separately before blending and aging more?
I'm not sure that there was a specific reason. It was, because we do have some that we blended from at the beginning and put to age. But I think in this case, it was about not knowing. Remember when Laurie Barnard started all of this, he had no clue what he was going to do with it.
Learning by doing?
Right, exactly. So it was okay. So if you keep them separate, then you have more versatility later. If you put them together from early, then obviously you can't do much with it later beyond what it is already. So I think that may be more what happened, just by default. But we did have some that were blended together and have been used as special casks.
And I think that's very important because so the creative of everybody is doing this job. Everybody has different ideas. So that's the reason we have different types of rum.
Absolutely.
So if everybody's working the same way and is doing exactly the same steps,
We don't have the same rum.
Yeah.
There'll be nothing different about us.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's what it is about. I could tell this was your favorite.
Yeah, that's true. And I like the aftertaste. of it.
Yeah,
So-
it
so
just,
it's long,
yeah.
it's very long and it's dancing.
I mean, there was a long aftertaste on something else before, but this one is certainly stays. But then I think I was talking about Royal Oak, but Royal Oak does have 12-year-old rum in it, so absolutely the same long aftertaste. That finish stays in your mouth, and there's a surprising creaminess, which you don't get from the younger stills, but you certainly get it. There is a creaminess in your mouth feel. So I agree. I think this is a great rum,
Yep.
actually.
Definitely it is.
Yeah, I think all our rums are good ones.
Yeah.
But then I'm biased.
But you don't give sugar to any qualities. Is that correct? I know.
No.
I know. Years
We
ago,
do
there was.
We do have a product that we made specifically with sugar in it. And when we were doing the 1931 range, where we were trying to get rid of all these barrels we had that were unique and different, we did try sugaring, but maybe we don't know how to do it properly because none of us really liked it. So it's not something that we know how to do really. I didn't think it was a great rum. It didn't seem to make it more palatable to any of us, but so no, our normal rums will not be sugared.
Okay.
I'm not even sure in the future if we will want to do it in the future because I don't think we did it well either.
Yeah.
Well, I think
But we did do a blend.
if you used to drink some non-alcohol, non-sweetened alcohol, it's very complicated to go back to.
Yeah, probably that. Yeah,
on the palate.
it was very. And we had to make it was a special request for a customer, and when we had to make it, and of course, when we were doing the 1931 range, I remember Michael Speakman, who's our sales director, he goes, those sweet rums are doing really well out there. Why don't you try one? This is your opportunity. It's a limited edition. And the master blender reluctantly, at the time, Ivanas Harris, he tried. And he's like, he gave so much trouble with that blend.
Okay.
But it did sell very well. But
Sometimes happens, yeah.
so no, we don't have sweetness in our regular blends. We would tell you if we had.
Yeah, I mean, you would also give away, in my opinion, give away part of your DNA if you would now start sweetening any product if you haven't done it before.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not something you do. You tell us that you probably didn't do it well, even if it sold well. Anyway.
Well, it's not better than we thought. We thought it was horrible, but it did.
If it's not what you do, if it's not your thing, there's no reason.
Yeah. And that's been our view so far. However, we have customers, we have to respond. We know there's a market out there. So I cannot sit here and say absolutely zero no and say while I'm here, while I'm, this would not be our choice at this point.
Okay. So one more question. I would also imagine that mixing the VOC from two different rums and then age them would lead to a different result versus aging them separately.
That was no question, actually, just a comment.
It was a comment, yeah, I know.
Because
I believe that. I believe that, sure. Because the 2005, they were blended and kept in cask for much longer than this one. So I think that's a difference. That's why I do mention it because, yeah, I would expect the results were slightly different. But then it doesn't take away from the end rum. So whatever, once you enjoy it, that's all that matters.
Okay, let's go to number 5.
Last one?
Last one.
Number 5.
Number 5.
Well, I have never tasted number
You never
5.
tasted before?
Never tasted? What?
So you have to come to
Interestingly, it's a
Berlin.
2005 as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
that-
because remember, you guys buy the whole barrel. So we have a sip in the lab, you know, barely a little taste, but we're not allowed to keep any of the bottles.
Okay.
So it's all shipped off to you. So you guys get all your bottles because you've paid for it. So no, I'm looking forward to tasting that one.
Okay, let's do.
Let's see if you made a good choice. So what do we have here?
So we have the Master Selection, German edition.
But what is it? What is the? I have my glasses.
That's Silver Manga,
That's
15 years,
Wow, 15-year
from
old.
2005 again.
What is the barrel? Oh, Vando. Oh, wow.
Ex-bourbon.
Okay, I'm looking forward to tasting that. We should get some good grapefruit milk
251
on that.
bottles. That's bottle number 17.
And I think it's a
Yeah.
cask strength as well.
Huh?
I think it's a cask strength. as
That's a
well.
cask ring, yeah. It's 59.3.
Wow.
Ooh.
Okay. I have to prepare for this one.
I think that's going to be my favorite tonight.
Clean the palate. Get ready for it. So this is a Vando.
Ist der noch verfügbar? Also wir haben nämlich hier, was ihr jetzt nicht sehen könnt, aber wir haben hier auch noch den lieben Isaac sitzen und den Enno und Elena. Also wir sind noch ein paar Leute mehr hier. Gibt es den noch, ist die Frage? Gibt's noch? Also ja, kann ich bestellen, wenn ihr bestellt.
So, ich wollte gerade sagen, weil auf der Webseite steht bei euch gerade, ist ausverkauft.
Vorhin war tatsächlich noch eine Flasche da.
Dann war irgendjemand so
Genau,
vorwitzig
genau.
und hat die bestellt.
Ja. Nein, können wir aber nachbestellen und dir nach Bremen mitbringen, wenn du möchtest.
Das wäre sehr vorzüglich. Dann schicke ich euch nachher mal eine längere Mail.
Gerne, gerne.
Very complex noodles. I'm getting like leather.
Mhm.
I need a cigar to go with this.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
that's
You like the cigar? You know, we have some.
to me that. I mean,
What we also do is we do tasting with cigar, with chocolate, with cheese and things like that. So
yes, it would certainly help bring out the flavors.
Rum and cheese, great.
rum and cheese. It's,
Very quite citrusy, I find.
Mhm.
Folks, this is my first time tasting this. So I'm just like you tonight.
Ja, das gibt's nur, also diese Abfüllung, dieses Fass gibt's nur in Deutschland. So it's only for Germany available.
Yeah.
This one.
Oh, what did we say about the cask? Yeah, it was a regular bourbon cask.
Regular bourbon cask, yeah. Ex-bourbon.
Ex-bourbon.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. It's really complex.
It's
I
really
mean, that's why I was asking what the cask was, because I thought maybe there was something else.
Yeah.
But wow, it is so different.
I think even after 15 years, it's still very fruity and not too woody.
Good point.
You don't have that much of wood in it.
That's what we find with the pot still rums. They don't mature as quickly.
They don't take wood as much.
Yeah,
as
so you don't get to that point where you can, it's all dry and woody and unpalatable. It is quite palatable.
But very spicy nonetheless.
Very.
Very warm spicy.
Mhm. The flavors are just bursting in my mouth. Wow, I think you guys made a good choice. Wow, I'm envious. We didn't get it. We didn't get it in St. Lucia.
But you like it?
I quite enjoy it.
Okay. Normally you will give some drop of water. Or,
Yeah.
Okay.
I would normally take this down a bit.
Yeah.
Because this is a bit. In fact, our blenders, when they're making rums, they take the rums down to 25%. So when we do tastings, when you blend, it's all at 25% because the flavors are more enhanced. You get all the flavors coming through.
So you put your alcohol back
Yeah.
inside and have
Yeah,
more
and we focus
flavors
on the
there.
flavors.
So it's for professional tasting. I
Yeah.
think it's a good way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so that's what we do.
I don't do that, but I
Yeah.
understand.
Yeah, we don't do proof
Yeah.
straight from the barrel.
Yeah. Okay.
And so when he decides if a barrel is acceptable or not acceptable, he does dilute it down. And
Okay.
so,
Yeah.
yeah, I just by adding the water, I could get even more flavors coming through now.
Mhm. There's one more question about Admiral Rodney. So someone find out there's more than one.
Yes.
So can you describe the difference, please?
So we have in the core range 3 different Admiral Rodneys. We have one that is called the Princessa, which has the youngest rums. One thing about the Admiral Rodney range is that they are all rums from the column still. The Princessa, what is unique about it, I mean, obviously it's a bit younger than the other 2, is that it has rum, that pot column still rum that has been aged in a pot barrel. So that's why it has this reddish hue to it. And a slight, you could take the pot, I find, on the nose, and a bit on the aftertaste of the Princessa. So that is the Princessa, which is the red box. The blue we tasted, which is the Royal Oak. And then we have the Formidable, which is the green box, a green box, a dark green box. And that one is the older, older versions of the, older rum. It has up to 18-year-old rum in it. So it's a bit drier.
Yeah.
It's a blend, obviously, we do blends. So it's between 11 and 18 years old. So it's blends so that we've made it less dry with some younger rum. But a true connoisseur would enjoy the Formidable. I find the Royal Oak much easier to drink and so.
Yep.
But the Formidable is for the connoisseurs to enjoy. Apart from that, we've very recently, tried our hand at finishings. It's not something we've ever done before. Anything you've tasted from us previously has been that it's been aged from distillate in the specific barrel, not that it was aged in one barrel and then finished in another. So what we've tried is to bring the Admiral Rodney and try different finishings. So the first year, I think, was in a port barrel, ruby port, I think it was, where we did for 9 months in a ruby port barrel and, had the port flavors come through. It was something very new to us, experimental, and actually quite surprising. I was surprised that within 9 months, so much flavor could be imparted and the rum could be changed. But that was a limited edition. So that was the officer's release, number 1. And we've done now an officer's release, number 2, where we got into an arrangement with an Irish whiskey distillery. We provided them with some rum casks so they can age their rum in it, some Chairman's casks. And they provided us with some casks and we aged our rum in their casks. And so we did again the 9 months. I think it was 9 months. Like I said, I'm not a technical person, so I may get little things wrong. But I think it was about 9 months in cask and great Irish whiskey flavors. You can get the peat and the smokiness coming through on the rum. So it's quite unique. People who are whiskey lovers probably would enjoy this one, I'm thinking. They're not converted totally to rum, but at least it's an introduction to me.
Okay, yeah.
But again, we're all about trying new and different things. That's who we are. We keeping the legacy of Laurie Barnard alive with, always being open and innovative with coming up with new ideas and doing things. So that's our idea, and that's what we.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And so we'll always be coming out with something new and different. So let me tell you, we have a bunch of young people in our team. Denny Duplessis is our master blender. He's quite a young man. We've got Eric, who deals a lot with the spices and so. You've got Bernal, who works with, executing the recipes afterwards. So we've got a great team. We've got Lennox, who is the production manager, and he's doing a lot of wonderful things. He always has some great ideas. So we have a great team, and lots of ideas will be coming.
Okay, sounds interesting. So we're looking forward.
Yes.
What's coming?
Me too.
In the
And so,
future.
I think I have a few more years before I retire. So
Yeah.
I guess I'll have a few more new ideas to enjoy.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
Are there any more questions out there? Einige Fragen?
They've gone quiet.
No.
Sorry, I was busy typing my order to Dirk for what of this range has to be brought to Bremen.
Oh, wow. Thank you for that.
It's not a cask we choose. No.
No?
No.
You didn't choose it?
No. He did.
Ah,
Enno did.
they don't choose it.
That's great taste.
Yeah, I think the vendor, when it just comes off the still, it tends to have this grapefruit type
Mhm,
citrus, but it's really mellowed here.
mhm, yeah.
And yeah,
Yeah, but you're right. With
pleasantly
citrus
surprised.
and grapefruit,
Yeah.
yeah, that's
I'm really pleasantly surprised.
Mhm.
It's lovely.
Mhm.
It's great.
great. Okay, so wenn keine Fragen mehr sind, dann würde ich sagen, würden wir jetzt hier an der Stelle Schluss machen.
Silently enjoy for the rest of the day. Thank you very, very much. You're one of the first rums I stumbled into by suggestion of a dealer. I never would have stumbled upon this tiny island without the hint of someone very educated. But I ever stuck to your brand since then, and I never regretted it.
Marco is a whiskey drinker, by the way.
Oh, wow.
That's
A real compliment coming from
Wow, Marco. Please, I hope one day you get to come to visit St. Lucia. Wow.
I'll be so happy to do so. Unfortunately,
Oh
I
my
spent
goodness.
most of my money for on buying bottles instead of buying flight tickets.
Oh my, but I'm really excited. Let me tell you that St. Lucia Distillers, we get emotional sometimes when you think you're there making these rums and you're packing them, loading containers to head off to different parts of the world. And when you think that people are enjoying something you've been doing for years, and other people are getting to enjoy it. And that's what I'm really so grateful to GBH for being able to bring our rums to the world, because before that it was just in St. Lucia. We didn't understand what we had. And I'm really, and even like you guys turning up tonight to listen to me. Wow, thank you. I'm so blessed and honored to be given this opportunity. And we are really, really thankful and grateful to all of you, in St. Lucia. So definitely I'll be taking all the messages back and giving people the feedback, so our team can keep motivated and continuing to give you really great rums.
Yeah. I have to say, you're a really nice rum person. So it was a big pleasure to have you here. So
Thank you. But you guys are so friendly and nice.
we're a rum family.
You make it so easy. I wasn't nervous at all.
Yeah, okay, cool. So yeah, thank you. Have to say, travel. I know we have some flights in the next days.
Some more trips.
Some more.
Yes, yes.
You can say something. Maybe we try to have Margaret for the Rum Fest.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh,
So
Not sure, but maybe.
That would be great. Yeah, if you can, just do.
Margaret.
German rum.
So the rumor says Margaret is coming to the next German rum festival.
July.
In July.
So yeah,
So I won't be freezing.
it won't be.
No, no.
It won't be freezing.
Wow.
Maybe if you're lucky, maybe it's 30 or 35 degrees.
Oh, okay, that's fine. I'm good. Oh, wow.
And if
Thank
The
you.
only thing you will missing is the ocean.
they were sharing that turkey. I can without it.
Yeah, okay.
And if you do so, I promise to get you the chocolates my friend does, because it's the same type of chocolate he has been serving the president of Germany. That was
Wow.
accompanied to your rum. So I promise to bring those
Okay.
chocolates to Berlin if you make it to the rum
Oh,
festival.
wow. You heard
Oh,
that?
nice.
Definitely.
Now you have to come.
I will do everything in my power to be there. I will try very hard to be there. I promise. Wow. I can't
So-
wait to taste those chocolates. And have it with rum. Oh my
So
God.
take 1 or 2 days more time.
So you can enjoy the city. and-
Yeah. Okay, so thank you very much.
Thank you.
Danke, dass ihr alle wieder dabei gewesen seid. Bis zum nächsten Mal. Bye, bye.
Bye.
Thanks and bye bye.
Bye, everyone.